Hey everybody, welcome back. So we are going to be finally putting some handles on our homemade knife here. So I've got some red and black layered G10, not G10, it's micarta, sorry about that. So we got some red and black layered micarta scales, and I super glued both of them together, got it clamped in here in a nice little vise. I'm gonna be drilling some holes through the blade, through the handles. So this is just kind of the way that I do it, try to keep everything squared up and lined up just how we need it to. So we're gonna drill some holes in this, make sure our pins are gonna be able to go through there just fine. Then we are going to remove the knife blade from it. We are going to sand down, well, we're gonna cut out with the grinder the shape of the handle for the knife. Then we're gonna take it over here to the grinder and we're going to, with the sander, and we're just gonna get the rough outline of how we want it, and we'll get some pins cut and we'll get this thing going. So I'm gonna put you guys in time lapse here, and then we'll get back to it and see exactly what we got going on. Another thing to keep in mind when you're working with any sort of micarta, G10, synthetic materials, there's a bunch of glue and nasty stuff in it. Make sure you're wearing the PPE. I'm going to be wearing this full face, well, pretty much full face respirator. I know I have a beard, so it doesn't work exceptionally well, but at least it's better than breathing in all the nasty stuff the whole time, especially when you're grinding or anything like that. It makes a big difference, so because that stuff is full of nasty and you really don't want to breathe it in. So make sure you wear PPE, glasses, gloves, face mask, respirator, whatever you got, at least something covering your mouth. So put you guys on time lapse. We'll get the cut-off wheel and grinder. We'll get this rough shape cut out. All right, so this is what we came up with so far. Definitely not my best work that I've ever done. Got a little aggressive with the grinder, took a nice notch out of the backside, so that's kind of unfortunate, but you know, we're not going for a museum quality piece. I wish it wouldn't have happened, but this is kind of just something I'm playing around with, so hopefully it won't end up too bad, but that's a little nugget shape we got. It's pretty cool, that red and black layered micarta on there. I still might do a little more sanding once we finally get it on the knife, but so next I need to break I just super glued these together. So I'm going to take a punch, chisel or something, knock these two scales apart so then we can actually get them onto the knife and cut some I got stainless steel rods for this also. So let's do that and see what we can do here on this one. Get these knocked apart for you guys. All right, so this is kind of what we got going here. It actually fits pretty well for what I had going on there, the amateur skills that I do have. So we definitely have a little bit of fitment issues, but we can definitely fix those when we get to the belt sander. So not a big deal. So I need to cut some pins down now and try to get them somewhat to where we need them. And then we can go ahead and epoxy this thing together and we'll do some final grinding on it. So it'll be pretty cool. I really like the red and the black color contrast. I think I'm gonna leave it. I could sand all this down like it's the finish after we did the quench. But I think I'm gonna keep it. Obviously I'm gonna polish up the bevel here, the initial bevel, and I still have to sharpen the secondary bevel on it, but I think we're gonna keep the finished look, the raw, natural, forged look, I guess you could say, and then we're just gonna clean up that bevel with some nice sandpaper or something like that, get it down to a nice, not anything crazy, but definitely some sort of finish on it. So let's go ahead and get these pins cut and we'll go from there. Put you guys back on time lapse for that. Another real good idea to when you're doing these and you want to get your pins nice and straight, just go ahead and put them in the chuck of your drill like this. We're going to turn on the belt sander and we're going to turn the drill and hopefully get it nice and smoothed up. All right, so we got our epoxy here. It's not the best stuff in the world, but it's definitely gonna get the job done for what we're gonna do. And of course, you wanna have a somewhat semi-clean work environment. You definitely want to have your alcohol, whatever you wanna do, acetone, get these scales cleaned up, get all the gunk off of them. Same thing with your blade handle. you're tangling your blade. You're going to get this all cleaned up, nice, test fitted a couple different times before you actually put any epoxy on it, so you're not going to, you don't want to do this more than one time, is what I'm trying to say, because it's not very fun. This stuff is really fast setting, so that's the only downfall of this fast setting stuff. 5-minute epoxy, it only takes 5 minutes to harden, I guess you could say, an hour to cure. So this is like same day use kind of deal. Some people don't like it. A lot of people like, you know, stuff that you can work with for a couple hours or whatever. So, but this is what I got on hand. So this is what we're gonna do. This is a knife building on a budget and showing that you don't need a whole bunch of fancy stuff to get the job done. So I'm gonna get these handles cleaned up, get some epoxy mixed up, and we're gonna get these things glued together here and see how it goes. So cross your fingers. All right, so we got our epoxy here. It's not the best stuff in the world, but it's definitely gonna get the job done for what we're gonna do. And of course, you wanna have a somewhat semi-clean work environment. You definitely want to have your alcohol, whatever you wanna do, acetone, get these scales cleaned up, get all the gunk off of them. Same thing with your blade handle. You're tangling your blade, you're gonna get this all cleaned up, nice, test fitted a couple different times before you actually put any epoxy on it, so you're not gonna, you don't want to do this more than one time, is what I'm trying to say, because it's not very fun. This stuff is really fast setting, so that's the only downfall of this fast setting stuff. 5-minute epoxy, it only takes 5 minutes to harden, I guess you could say, an hour to cure. So this is like same day use kind of deal. Some people don't like it. A lot of people like, you know, stuff that you can work with for a couple hours or whatever. So, but this is what I got on hand. So this is what we're gonna do. This is a knife building on a budget and showing that you don't need a whole bunch of fancy stuff to get the job done. So I'm gonna get these handles cleaned up, get some epoxy mixed up, and we're gonna get these things glued together here and see how it goes. So cross your fingers. All right, so we got pretty much the rough idea of it done. So we got the handles glued on there, everything fit up pretty well. Pretty happy with it, other than the one bad spot that I showed you guys earlier that I got a little carried away with the grinder. So you'll have that on them big jobs though. But so for now, we are going to just go let this thing hang out for about an hour or two, whatever, something like that. We'll take it out of the mold. What am I saying? We'll take it out of the clamps, and then we'll do some more buffing on it here. We'll get the another pretty much final product done here on the belt sander, and we'll go from there. So that should be pretty much a done knife, other than the sheath that we have to make for it. So it's pretty cool. Like how it turned out. The you know, this is what I was going for. Small handles, finger hole, you know, kind of like a self-defense kind of blade you can put on your belt. So pretty cool. So I got a sheath coming up too. I'm gonna try to take a crack at making a sheath. I'm not really sure how that's gonna turn out, but so should be fun. So all right guys, there you go. All right guys, so we fast forwarded a couple steps. We're back here in the recording studio, and this is what we came up with on the knife here. So we got the handles on, got everything glued together, epoxied, and got pretty much final shape of what it's going to be. Might need to do a little bit more refining on some spots, but for the most part, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. So the next step is we're going to be making a sheath for it, and so it's pretty good. You know, it's definitely not the best thing in the world, but for what it is, you know, I'm pretty happy with it. So of course the ergonomics are exactly what we figured it was going to be. You know, nice small handle with the finger hole. You know, it makes it feel like almost a 4-finger knife, but being very small in the package. So definitely pretty cool. The sheath, hopefully we're going to make a video about that hopefully next weekend, and we'll be able to wrap this thing up. So definitely pretty cool. I appreciate you guys following along and watching, and until next time.